The purpose of the Un-convoluted Hierarchy Podcast is to help you better understand your work environment as I break down my own experiences as mid-level management of road construction. Greetings, navigators, and welcome back to the Un-convoluted Hierarchy Podcast, the Can You Relate series. I am your host, Kenny Rogers.
Come on, man. Sit the fuck down.
In the Word Up segment of the show, we introduce a new word, or a word hardly used in everyday speech. Word up. Yin Yang, being or comprising opposite and especially complementary elements. In ancient Chinese philosophy, yin and yang means dark, light, negative, positive. It is the concept of dualism, describing how obvious opposites or contrary focus may actually be complementary, interconnected, and interdependent in the natural world. Wow, I get it. It's kind of like me and my wife. We're like oil and water. Yeah, something like that. Honey, you're yin, I'm yang. You're oil, I'm water. Whatever, you're still a jerk. Hey, that's not how it works. Giving someone authority is like giving someone a license to kill. Not always a physical death, but people with even superficial power can kill the soul of a man. Sadly, this is nothing new and happens all the time. Just because a person has a position of authority means they know best. Conversely, just because you are up under someone of authority means you don't know best. This applies to every level of leadership, government, folks in uniforms, and those who carry badges of sorts. Have you ever had to deal with someone you've known a long time that was put in a position of authority? Have you ever had to stomach their immediate ego inflation? Pretty repugnant, right? Some people so rapidly forget who they really are and where they just came from. In their minds, it's like they've never been who you know them to be. Who do you think you are? Like clockwork, these types dust off antiquated authoritative techniques, straight away becoming exactly what they hated. They forget how their superiors treated them. They forget how it felt to carry out moronic tasks just because authority said so. Of course, this behavior is because of intimidation, and they end up acting like animals. I definitely don't want to blanket these statements over good people with authority. They definitely have their own cross to bear. The wise, working amongst the majority who just have authority, will be the ones viewed as weak and nonsensical. I'll get into the differences some other time. Directly or through the medium of media, we all have witnessed the animal nature of the immature with authority. In work environments, I've seen people who held a position of power for many years to the yearling who can't hold their own weight act like beasts. In the African jungle, an unsuspecting lion strolls into another lion's den. The king of the territory makes eye contact with the invader. He postures. The king of the house pulse quickens as he begins to pant deeply. "What are you doing here?" The invader stops in his track as his heartbeat and breathing mimics the territorial beast, but for a different reason. The king is in position and possession of his turf. The king recognizes the drifter is also a king, out of position. He thinks, "This stranger wants to take my position. He wants to take what belongs to me. I must kill him." The intruder's muscles tightens for the attack that is sure to ensue. With a guttural moan, he whispers to himself,
"He thinks I'm going to take his position. He is going to try and kill me."
Being the wiser and wanting to avoid conflict, the intruder changes his tone in remembrance.
Dumba, it's me, Safari. Remember? We used to hunt antelope together."
This reminder infuriates Dumba, the king. He indeed remembers Safari as the far superior hunter. The memory is far too much to bear. Dumba's jealousy and intimidation sends him on the attack. He sprints towards Safari, full throttle, with intentions of destroying his old mate.
"I will finally destroy you, Safari."
Using animal instinct, Safari postures, refusing to be bullied.
"Oh, you must have forgot where you come from, homie. I'm a beast just like you."
The only behavioral difference for humans is we don't have to act like beasts. But so it goes. Immature people with half a bucket of authority act like animals. And nice folks who are tired of constant aggressive abuse turn into monsters with an explosive level of violence greater than 10 honey badgers. I've been the latter. Believe me, it ain't sweet. In the words of Tupac, "I ain't no killer, but don't push me." So, what do you do when faced with an intimidated person with authority? How do you behave when put in a position of power? Yin Yang. Yin, chaos, dark, the unknown, decadent, nihilism. The egoist who uses techniques of fear and intimidation to get others to submit to their authority. Yang, order, light, the known, authoritarianism, fascism. The good guy in authority, or not, who relies on morals and niceties just to get trampled over by brutish bullies who may not even have power. One extreme or the other still results in chaos. The balance reminds me of a famous quote, but with a perspective twist. The two shall become one flesh. Both extremes of passive and aggressive resides in all of us. This ego or that ego. It is all ego. It just depends on which one you use to an extreme. You can think of it as an alter ego. And what do we associate an alter ego with? Darkness, evil, demonic. When it's not used to the extreme, this is not a bad thing. Believe it or not, like it or not, we are all light and darkness, holy and evil. Outside of being a Machiavellian. A mean person who just told a lie about someone to save their own hide sometimes feel, I shouldn't have done that. Just the same, an extensively nice person who was just taken advantage of by, let's say, lending $1,000 to a liar ultimately feels, I shouldn't have done that. For one extreme and the other, it is very uncomfortable to stand in the middle. Mr. Yin extreme thinks, I'm not going to let people take advantage of me. I'm no pushover. Notwithstanding, Mr. Yin extreme is the one benefiting from pushing people over. Mr. Yang extreme thinks his cousin Yin is a delusional, dark, evil person that must be friends with the devil. Being anything like Yin makes Yang want to vomit. This is how people really think, but neither of the extremes get anything done of significance and satisfaction. We are already both, so we may as well be both. All in one dualism. Another eloquent description and directive of being all that you are is actually found in the Bible. I am sending you out as sheep among wolves. So be as shrewd as a snake and harmless as a dove. Navigators, becoming balanced with your light and dark side keeps you far away from being the bully or the pushover. I'm out of time, but here is a clip of what to expect in the next episode of the Un-convoluted Hierarchy Podcast. The law of gravity has been broken successfully many times, as well as the law for humans to breathe air where air does not exist. Again, different environments, different laws. But more often than can be calculated, law won the battle to be broken. It's easier to keep up with new episodes when you click the follow button and turn on notifications. Remember, my fellow navigators, circumstances don't change. You do. See you next time.